Happy Wednesday, Flosstube. Hello, crafty friends. Welcome back. My name is Caroline, and I'm back again. Another daily crafty chat video. It's late. It's already late. It's already 3 o'clock. I've had quite a busy day already. Just the usual, regular chores. It was a perfect day for laundry, so I've done the sheets. I've got all the sheets out on the line drying. There's a little bit of a wind, so they should be dry soon. Bring them back in. Just, the regular vacuuming and all that kind of good stuff. It's nice and bright and sunny. We took Luna for a nice walk. I have some clips that I took this morning that I will pop in at the beginning of this video. It's a route that we take a couple of times a day. It's not very long. It doesn't take us very long, but when it's just the two of us here, my father-in-law is here, but he's still in quarantine, so he's not going for a walk with us. The rocks can get a little bit slippery. You might be able to tell from the video. There's a lot of moss and sort of lichen everywhere on the rocks, and when we get a lot of rain, they get really, really slippery. So the rocks can be a little bit treacherous, and there isn't like a path per se that you would be used to, in the sort of traditional sense. It's a path that sort of we've worn away into, our way around, and we know where to go. It's a well-traveled little path. And I take some walking sticks and wear good boots, and it's a nice way to start the day. So I hope you enjoyed those little clips, my little travel around the island. And yes, that one spot is the highest point on the island, and we've often thought that maybe one day one of the kids might like to have a little cabin there. Maybe, I think John's hoping that they'll let him build it. So he's always looking for another project, and that is another, he's kind of like, it's funny because I often talk about myself and how I like these big projects, and I have to say I married a man who's very similar. He chooses these large projects and sort of figures out how to go about doing them. He is the one who built this cottage that we live in. So my husband also likes a big project. All right, crafty chat. I have a few things to share with you today, and an apology to make. First off, in yesterday's whip parade, the very last viewer photograph that I shared, I don't know. I think what happened was, what I do is I take the photographs and I pop them into the last video that I made, so that I don't have to add in, I don't have to redo all of the manipulating of adding in, this box here and this box here and this box here. I just simply swap out the photographs and then re-edit the text that's in the boxes that go around them. It still takes a fair bit of time. That's probably, considering it's only about usually in between 2 to 4 minutes of video per day, that takes me quite a long time to edit all of that in. And so I think what happened was I quit the iMovie because I have to quit the program before I can then I reopen it and upload it. It's convoluted what I have to do. But I think what happened was I didn't click off the text box or something. I didn't switch it so that it didn't save the text that I had written for Vicky's project. And if I have ever done that before and you've noticed that I've put your work in with someone else's, I apologize, really and truly. It's I do my very best to make sure that that information is correct, because you guys have worked really hard on your stitching, and you'd like to have credit where it's due. So at the end of today's video, I have popped in Vicky's whip again, and I have included the correct information today. So Vicky, once again, I'm really sorry that happened, and I have double checked today. I've already done the editing at the end of today's video. I did it this morning because I wanted to make sure that that I got that correct. So that's already done. So you'll enjoy Vicky's whip again today. However, yesterday I attributed it to Karen R. and a piece by Arlene Cohen, and Karen's work I had put into, I think that was Saturday's video. Saturday's video, or I don't remember, but it was Karen's whip. And of course, clearly it wasn't, it was Vicky's. So anyways, long story, long. I have corrected it today. So that was the first thing that I wanted to say. The second thing, actually, and this isn't about crafting, but it was something I really wanted to share with you because it's one of those things. I think I must have first seen it on Facebook, and I am now completely hooked. You might remember a few years back I mentioned that I really liked to watch the bald eagle cams, you know, the ones they set up in the trees and you can watch the babies hatch and they grow and they get fed, and I love that kind of stuff. And so I came across this video maybe a month ago, maybe less than a month, I don't even remember, but it is the Marine Mammal Rescue. And they are out in British Columbia, Canada. And about a month back, they rescued an orphaned baby sea otter. And I mean, literally like newborn. And the mother was deceased. I think it was a kayaker or someone heard the baby making noises, and so they found the baby. The Marine Mammal Rescue Organization has taken over the care and raising of this incredibly adorable baby sea otter. And I kid you not, if you are feeling down or you just need a little bit of a smile, something to lift your heart just a little bit, if you're an animal lover, you can't help but just, you know, it's adorable cuteness overload. So they named the baby sea otter Joey. And, you know, they went through all the process of him, you know, getting used to water, floating on his back. He plays with toys. It's so cute. So anyways, I am going to leave the name of that in the drop down box below. And they have videos on TikTok, which I've only just started exploring. I think I'm too old for TikTok. Sarah keeps sending me these videos and I don't know. I think I'm too old. But I have the app, but I don't really use it. But I know they're on TikTok. They have a Facebook page, and that's where I really watch the videos because they just pop up in my feed because I liked their page. So that I see the Joey videos when they pop up there. And they have some other, obviously they have other animals there as well that are just as enjoyable to watch. They also have an Instagram page, so you can see their photos on there. So sweet. And I thought maybe someone else out there might be interested in that as well. Last night I watched Noah Stitches. So a little shout out to Noah Stitches. I've known Noah for a little bit on Instagram, and he put out his very first Flosstube video like a day and a half ago, 2 days ago. It's an hour and a half long, and I kid you not, at 40 minutes in, I'm not going to tell you the story because Noah's a storyteller, and it's an hour and a half long. And you know, you can, as with anyone at the beginning, there's a few moments where he's finding his feet, but still very charming. And then very quickly he gets really comfortable chatting. He's got so many he shares all of these finishes at the beginning, and I think that's what really, you know, it's project after project after project. And then he pulls out this Liz Almond Save the Stitches, and he says, oh yeah, and I did this in about a year and a half. He's 20 years old. He's just turning, I think his birthday is it next week? He's just turning 21. He has more stitching complete than most stitchers I know. Well, okay, maybe, you know what I mean. For his age, he has way more stitching complete than any other 20-year-old I've ever met. And Save the Stitches in a year and a half. Phenomenal. I think he has now started dyeing his own fabric. He sews. He FFOs his projects in a really unique way. I really enjoyed his video. There were a couple of times during his video, and like I said, I'm not going to tell you the story because I can't tell them as well as Noah can, but at 40 minutes into the video, he tells the story about making his first project bag, and I literally laughed until I had tears in my eyes because it was funny. I'm not gonna lie, it was funny. It was funny. So that's Noah Stitches. Thoroughly enjoyed his video, and I hope he makes another one in, you know, good time. So good job, Noah. Very enjoyable. And I have some stitching to share with you today. I know, try not to be shocked. So the first thing that I'm going to share with you is my Glendon Place Hope and Strength Stitch Along. And it doesn't look like much. I put about an hour and a half of work into this. Like I said, I went over to the Lion, and it doesn't look like an hour and a half, does it? But I think I was about here and I stitched that. Doesn't look like very much, does it? That's a little bit disappointing. But, you know, these things take time. Oh, it's so pretty. 32 count Picture This Plus fabric in the jade colorway. All of the called for threads and eventually beads. There's a lot of beads in this. So speaking of beads, I do not have a lot of experience with beading. So I suspect when I get to that point, I am going to be asking for advice for beading. So not today. I'm not asking for advice today because I'll forget it all by the time I get there because I have still a lot of stitching to finish on this. So, but now this is now in my daily rotation, and I'm going to try to put at least half an hour to an hour, preferably an hour of work on this every day so that I can get this completed. But the other stitching that is, I need to get this done by the end of August. So I am now going to be talking about my Stitch North Cross Stitch Retreat Smalls Exchange. These are due to be in the mail by the beginning of September. And so I'm going to share now where I'm at with my stitching. I've talked about this project before. I was asked, so my partner that I am stitching for, her name is Kimberly H. And Kimberly, if you are watching this video, I'll tell you when to close your eyes. I'm not going to say anything out loud about this project or the details about it. But I will say, addressing some questions that I've had about it, and you guys have all been really good. No one has said anything in the comments about the name of the pattern or anything about what I'm making, which I really appreciate, because the thing is, I'm doing daily videos, and this is now going to occupy a big part of my personal crafting time from now until it's done. And so if I can't, and when I'm working on it, I want to share it with you. So I really appreciate that that Kimberly, if she's watching, she'll just close her eyes for a minute. So the questions that I had about this was about what threads I was using. And so my answer to that is, when I am all done this project that I'm working on, I will share all of the details with you once it's been in the mail and received by Kimberly. And then I will do a reveal post on what I used and materials used and so on and so forth. Okay? All right. So Kimberly, close your eyes, and here it is. So you can see I've done quite a bit here and here, and I'll just bring it in nice and close. You can see that. I love it. I love it. So there you go. Okay, I'm putting it away now, and I will share my progress again in a few days. Okay, so Kimberly, you can open your eyes again. I'm all done showing it and sharing it. So that's it. that's all of the personal crafting I've been doing. I have been doing a lot of sewing. I still have a lot of sewing to do. I have completely gone through the remainder of that old roll of batting that I had. It wasn't old, but the one that I needed, the one that I was using up first, I have now used all of that up. So you know what comes next? The giant roll of batting that's on my wall. So tomorrow morning is the first time that I'm going to unroll it, and I'm going to be cutting bat all morning tomorrow. So that leads me to my next, I was debating not putting out a video tomorrow. So there's a possibility there might not be a video tomorrow because I have a lot of work to do, both for the shop update that just happened and also some things that are coming in for the Christmas kit that I'm working on. It's, I can't really say too much because it's still a little bit of a secret, but as we go, I'll try and say a few little things. Anyways, so long story, again, somewhat long, I may or may not put out a video tomorrow. I always feel very odd when I don't now because it's such a big part of my daily routine. So I get to the end of the day, even on Sundays, the days that I don't do a video, I get to the end of the day and I sort of feel a little, I didn't do something today, you know? And I know what it is that I didn't do. So I always feel a little bit more complete in my day when I've had a chat with you. So, I've showed you my crafts, my progress on my stitching. I told you about the marine mammal rescue and Joey because, you know, everybody needs a little cuteness in their day. And what else? I think that's it for my stuff because I have somebody else's stuff to share with you, and then I'm going to get into the whip parade. So I had an email sent to me from a viewer back at the beginning of July, and I'm finally almost through the sort of backlog of viewer emails that I had sharing your stitching progress with me. I'm almost through those. I'm pretty sure that I maybe only have one or two left of stitchers to email back. If you haven't heard from me and you think maybe I've missed something, I would really hate for that to happen. So please feel free to email me back at any time, caroline@evertote.com. So this was a viewer email that I thought I wouldn't put in the whip parade at the end because the email that accompanies this was so touching about what happened with this particular bit of stitching that I wanted to share it with you. And I did ask permission before, and the stitcher's name is Jackie. So Jackie said that I was welcome to share this with you and about her stitching that she's done here. So let me just read the email and you'll see what I mean, okay? Okay, so hello Caroline. I have finally decided to share how much you have inspired me. I found Flosstube by accident while following a quilting channel. I had never bothered with YouTube before that. Through that site and subsequent search, I stumbled onto your channel. I loved that you were a Canadian voice and almost in my backyard. I had stitched, but stopped many years ago due to absolute frustration with a piece. This kit, Alnwick Castle, was to be a beautiful memento of a 2006 trip to England. However, it became my nemesis. The fabric was the old yellowish 14 count Aida, and the colors were all greens with black and 2 strands of white. Nothing looked like the castle I remembered. I changed fabric to Lagana, but it still looked awful. I put it aside 2 or 3 times and then just stopped. Never had I been so disappointed with a piece. Fast forward to you. I had never heard of so many of the things that you were talking about. When you talked about making changes to any aspect of a piece, I was blown away. I had been old school and always followed the chart. I couldn't believe the new exciting designers, fabrics, and threads. Silks, who knew? I watched, I listened, and became so inspired to stitch again I finished 2 new pieces almost immediately. Then I decided it was time to return to Alnwick. I changed about half the colors. I stayed with some that I had already stitched simply because I couldn't bring myself to start a 4th time. I finished it in just over a month while watching you, continuing to be encouraged and inspired. I can't say thank you enough for reigniting my passion to stitch. I look forward to your videos like having coffee with a very dear friend. Maybe someday we can really share a coffee in London, as I'm just down the 401 in Kingsville. Now just to FFO Alnwick. Completed on 28 count Lugana with a combination of anchor threads from the kit and DMC. Thank you again for all your work and sharing your life with us. Sincerely, Jackie R. And I'm going to put in those photos of Jackie's Alnwick Castle right here. Congratulations, Jackie. Amazing, amazing. I'm so proud. That's really, really wonderful. Congratulations. And even better, thank you for your letter. Your letter really obviously meant a lot to me. And you know, this is why these daily videos are a really important part of my daily routine. It's the connections that we've made are irreplaceable, and I thank you. Okay, so now I really am done everything that I had to share with you today, except for the whip parade at the end. Don't forget to check out Vicky's corrected piece at the end, and I'll see you tomorrow. If I don't see you tomorrow, I'll see you Friday. So take care, everybody, and happy stitching.